Let me share with you our best business budget tracker apps. So here's a review I want you to pay attention to. The first app that I want to share with you is Zoho Expense. And Zoho is kind of cool because, first of all, this is our best overall expense tracker with affordable pricing plans. And of course, this Zoho Expense is part of the larger Zoho ecosystem, which is really great, which is really synonymous with quality, that's for sure. And when you think about this expense tracker app, I want you to think about a few pros and also a few cons. First of all, what are the advantages? You have expense approvals and reimbursements. You have easier work and collaboration with the help of third-party integration. So you have integrations galore with Zoho. You have fraud detection features. You have the Zoho Suite integration. This is really cool. Then you have end-to-end travel expense management. So those, in our views, are the most important advantages when you think about this app. You have a few drawbacks too, though. You have a steep learning curve here. And at once, if you try the Zoho Expense Tracker app, you might have a confusing user interface for the first time. So this is what justifies the steep learning curve. And plans are not really flexible due to the required number of users. Okay, so when you think about plans and pricing, you have the free plan. So the free plan is for 3 users, maximum 3 users, and then you have the standard, the premium, and actually you have the enterprise. So the standard plan actually is about $5 per user per month, with a minimum of 3 active users. The premium, you have $8 to $10 per user per month, minimum of 3 active users. And for the enterprise, you're looking at $12 to $15 per user and per month, and this is the minimum 500 users. Everything I'm telling you, this is per month, okay? When billed monthly. So when you think about Zoho Expense, I want you to think about expense tracking features that are really, really sophisticated. So when managing expenses, you can create entries one by one or by batch and upload receipts from suppliers. And bulk adding expenses is a great feature because it saves a lot of data entry time and helps the bookkeeper enter similar expenses in one window. So you can even store, and this is a great thing that we have seen, you can even store receipts in Zoho Expense and attach them to expense entries for proper tracking. And Zoho can also detect if an upload receipt is unreported, uncategorized, or a duplicate. So this is kind of cool. Boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. Another app I want to share with you is called Inburst Spend. That's our second app here. It's a wonderful budget tracker app here, and this is great for API customization or expense workflows. And when you think about Inburst Spend, you have a few pros here. So you have a free expense tracker. You are able to go through the app to assign specific cards for different purposes, and you have a great choice of pre-funded or credit Inburst cards. So this is kind of cool. And so what about the cons in our view here? Well, you have a monthly fee for connecting third-party corporate cards, and you are limited to 150 free automated clearinghouse payments or ACH payments for non-Inburst cards. So in terms of plans and pricing, well, as a standalone software tool, Inburst Spend's pricing is quote-based depending on the size and features that you will be enabling. However, Inburst cards are unlimited and free to actually issue for Inburst Spend users. So Inburst earns money from the transaction fees charged to vendors when you use the Inburst cards. So basically, in terms of expense tracking feature, well, this is kind of cool because Inburst features an API that can help companies create custom workflows with unique controls, limits, and policies. And Inburst's API lets you create expense cards based on your business needs and enables you to personalize your card issuing processes. This is kind of cool. And the cool thing is that Inburst cards transactions are automatically reported in the cardholder's transactions. So if you use a card not enrolled on a corporate card, such as a personal card, for instance, in the platform, you must manually enter a reimbursement entry to track the expense. So through real-time expense reporting, as a user, you don't need to create the expense reports before. You can actually those expense reports go through the reimbursement process. This is kind of cool. And one thing we also love here is that managers can also set spending limits and replenishment frequencies within Inburst Spend. It also allows expense rules settings that can help filter expenses that do not follow company expense policies. So this is kind of fantastic. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about the best business budget tracker apps. Another app I want to share with you is Ramp. So when you think about Ramp, I want you to think about a great free tracker for third-party integration. Okay, this is kind of important. And so and Ramp is actually known for other stuff. I mean, we know Ramp for their corporate card. Okay, so you are able to actually get a Ramp card without like an EIN only. But in today's conversation, I want to focus on the budget tracker app section of things. So Ramp, in our view, is the best free tracker for third-party integration. And so when you think about Ramp, you have unlimited 1.5% cashback rewards. This is really cool. You have artificial intelligence powered receipt capture for faster data entry. So the AI functionality here is kind of cool because it is actually helping you add an extra layer of efficiency to your expense management process. Okay, you also have access to over 1,000 integrations with productivity software and banks. So here we're speaking about either you have native integrations or integrations through a third-party app such as Zapier. So those are the pros for when it comes to Ramp. What about the cons here? Well, Ramp doesn't issue credit cards. They do have a corporate card, but it's not a credit card. Okay, so whatever limits you have on Ramp is basically based on your money. In other words, you have to pay your balance in full every single month, and you can't so therefore you cannot carry card balances to the next period. And Ramp right now, they still have limited customer support. This is something they need to work on in our view. But the cool thing is that Ramp integrates with productivity software such as Slack, Gusto, and Bamboo HR, as well as banks, including Bank of America, Citibank, and Capital One Bank, which makes it a lot easier to integrate in any business setup when you think about it. And Ramp offers multiple integrations with small business accounting software such as QuickBooks and FreshBooks, and enterprise resource planning software like Oracle, NetSuite, and SAP. And this is kind of cool. And so when you think about Ramp expense management features, think about the functionalities that are integrated within its corporate card. So by using Ramp's cards, transactions are automatically recorded and categorized in Ramp while waiting for employees to forward receipts. And if receipts are forwarded in Gmail, Lyft, or Amazon Business, Ramp's integration with this software can automatically collect these receipts and input them into the system. So this is really good. You can also set spending limits and approval thresholds to control all spending that gets charged to Ramp cards. In case employees pay out of pocket, Ramp allows electronic and manual reimbursement to employees, provided the reimbursement is within the expense policies set by the company. Let's talk about the fourth one. So you have QuickBooks Online. This is a great app that everybody knows anyway. So when you think about QuickBooks Online, think about an app that is great for small businesses that need to and really need to have a complete bookkeeping system. So if you're listening to me right now, if you need a complete bookkeeping system, you will love QuickBooks Online. So what are the pros and cons of this app? The pros first. This app serves as both a full bookkeeping system and expense management tool, right? So that the duality here is kind of cool. It's kind of important, and it really integrates with multiple third-party apps. And it has a wide network of accountants and bookkeepers. Everybody knows if you're in accounting, you definitely knows QuickBooks. Okay, so it's really an advantage, really. What about the cons here? Well, it is expensive if all you need is expense management and no employee expense reports or reimbursement are available. So in terms of pricing here, you have the simple start, the essentials, the plus, and the advanced. When it comes to QuickBooks in general, the pricing is a little, and it's sometimes just a lot better to contact the company to have a better idea. Really. So for instance, for this QuickBooks Online, for the simple start, you're paying $30 per month for one user plus accountant. For the essentials, you're paying $60 per month for three users plus accountant. The plus, you're paying $90 per month for five users plus accountant. And For the advanced, you're paying $200 per user per month, rather, for 25 users. And each plan has a 30-day free trial or 50% off for 3 months if you buy it right away. So it's one of those things where QuickBooks want to incentivize you to actually buy it right away. Now the thing is with the QuickBooks is that QuickBooks Online's expense tracking is integrated within the accounting system, making it less flexible for users who might need additional features in tracking. For example, QuickBooks Online cannot issue expense cards and doesn't have a separate view for employees to submit expenses. And so this is kind of important in terms of expense tracking features. You can sync corporate cards and bank accounts for automatic feeds. Uploading receipts is also possible, allowing you to upload either a PDF file or an image. So it's one of those things where you have flexibility here. And within QuickBooks Online, the dashboard even shows your expenses presented in different expense categories so that you can track your top expenses. And you can also add billable expenses that you can later charge to customer invoices. Plus, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about the best business budget tracker apps for your small business. The next app I want to share with you is File. And when you think about File, I want you to think about a card, not a card, an app that is great for real-time card feeds. File is pretty interesting sort of products. Let me give you the few pros and cons, and then we'll dig it a little deeper into the product itself. So with the File, you have actually the pros. You have real-time updates on transactions charged to Visa cards. You have a tool that's compatible with any Visa credit or corporate card. You have automatic receipt attachment via SMS after using Visa card. You have a clean and intuitive user interface. So the UI and UX within File are pretty fantastic. What about the cons here? Well, it is expensive if compared with other expense trackers. There are no Visa real-time updates under the standard plan, and there is no free trial available. So this is kind of important, okay? And in terms of pricing here, now File has no free trial, but you can request for a product demo to know the software a little more. So they charge you like they have the standard, the business, and the enterprise plan. They charge you like for the standard plan, they charge you about $9 all the way to $12 per active user per month. The minimum of 5 users. The business, they're charging you somewhere from $15 to $20 per active user per month with the minimum of 10 users. They also have for enterprise, you have to contact the company. So they have custom pricing here. Okay. And it is pretty interesting. So File actually offers real-time tracking of Visa and MasterCard transactions. Your transactions are reported automatically in the system the moment you use the card. You won't have to wait for bank feeds that take several hours before they are fetched from your corporate card provider. So after using the card, the cardholder will actually receive an SMS requesting them to send a picture of the receipts. And so besides real-time Visa transaction synchronization, File offers convenient expense tracking on Gmail, Slack, and Outlook. So this is really cool also in terms of efficiency if you are trying to really have efficiency into the business operations. It can also, File that is, can recognize expenses and receipts sent through these platforms and pick them up automatically for recording. So if you want to set expense limits and rules, File has an approval workflow that makes it very easy for you and your managers to filter out expenses that are not related or reimbursable. So that's just fantastic. Another tool I want to share with you is Wave. So when you think about Wave, I want you to think about the best free expense tracker in a complete bookkeeping system. The whole thing about Wave is that Wave actually allows you to be flexible. Wave actually allows you to gives you a big because Wave also has an accounting component, right? So you're able to actually have a holistic solution. So what are the pros and cons of this software tool here? Well, but in terms of pros, you have a free forever plan that is a free forever tool for accounting, invoicing, and expense tracking. Very easy to set up, and you have access to assisted bookkeeping options through Wave Advisor program. And what about the cons here? Well, Wave is not really a good fit for businesses that sell inventory because their inventory management expense, like their inventory expense tracking, features are pretty limited. There is no class or location tracing, and Wave is not really scalable. So this is one of those things you have to really see what really works for you. So Wave, in our view, is a great option for users needing basic expense tracking. The free software tool, it doesn't disappoint since it offers features like recurrent invoices that are usually premium features and paid functions. So we actually recommend Wave for users wanting to start with free accounting software. So being a free platform with no upgrade options, Wave is suitable for users with simple accounting tracking needs. And if you find like so this is kind of cool. And so Wave's expense tracking features are embedded in its accounting features. You can upload receipts to support expense entries, assign expenses into categories, and modify transaction details. And expenses will reflect automatically in the general ledger. The accounting reports can also be generated. So this is kind of this is really good. Let me talk to you about another business budget tracker app. This is Raidu Expense. And when you think about Raidu Expense, I want you to think about operational flexibility here. I want you to think about seamlessness. I want you to think about the opportunity to do things. So Raidu, when you think about Raidu, in our view, for all intents, this app, this budget tracker app is great for assisted expense approval. So in terms of the advantages here, you have easy migration for from competitors' apps to Raidu. You have an add-on for assisted expense approval. You have multiple integrations with ERP packages. You have affordable pricing. So this is kind of cool. This is really good in terms of giving you flexibility. What about the cons here? There is no reimbursement system. There are no detailed expense reporting features, expense filters, and forecasts. These are only available as an add-on called Raidu Insights. And this is not a good fit for businesses with fewer than 5 users. Okay, so this is kind of important to remember. So when you think about Raidu, think about an affordable expense tracking service or travel expense tracking. It's a great expense tracker for established small businesses, different kinds of software as a service like SaaS apps. And Raido's controlling services separately billed helps businesses outsource expense approvals. And this features releases managers and supervisors from approving expenses of employees. So instead, Raido will study your business's policies for you. So they're doing it for you. And so think about the fact that you have a provider that has a visually appealing user interface. This is really good. Present it clean. It really presents it clean and employees can navigate through easily. And its approval workflow is also worth calling out. And basically, it has two roles. Personal roles are given to employees who need to submit, while approval roles are given to managerial or administrative positions. Think about Raidu. I want you to think about a holistic expense management app. Finally, I want to talk to you about FreshBooks. So when you think about FreshBooks, here is another business budget tracker app that's really great for your business, potentially great for your business, and it's great for freelancers and solopreneurs. And in terms of the pros here, you have a simple and easy to navigate interface. You can assign tracked expenses to individual projects. This is ideal for freelancers and solopreneurs with minimal accounting. You can import and auto-create expense entries from credit card transactions. This is really cool. What about the cons here? Well, you are required to connect bank accounts to track cash flows, and there is no expense reimbursement features. There's no expense approval flow. And there is no inventory. There are no inventory accounting features for companies with inventory that want an expense tracker, really. So this is kind of important to really think about it. And the bottom line here is what? Basically, when you think about FreshBooks, think about a tool that's suitable for freelancers and solopreneurs because of its outstanding software. Makes it a lot easier to do accounting, even if you don't have a background or knowledge. Its expense tracking features also allow you to track categories, record expenses in different currencies, and import credit card transactions. And but the thing is that FreshBooks is, however, limited when it comes to the number of users. Software is only good for one user, unless you add more for $10 each a month. For unlimited users, you can check out Inverse, Ramp, or Wave. And if you like a dedicated expense tracker, Zoho Expense is a well-rounded pick in our view. So think about that. And one thing I want to say here is that overall, when you think about choosing as the expense tracker software, you got to pay attention to flexible pricing, interface, of course, expense reimbursement and reconciliation, third-party app integration, automatic credit card data import, and documentation features. Those are really important. You got to have affordability. You got to have integration. You got to have reimbursement capabilities. You got to have security. And you got to have compliance. Otherwise, you can't really run your business properly. Okay? And the bottom line here is that at the end of the day, you got to have a situation where you have to be clear as to what's really happening. So when you use like, there are moments where you should be using a business. Let's say when there are expenses passed on to customers, there is a high volume of reimbursable expenses, there is a need to streamline business processes, then you will need to actually automate things a little bit. Okay. And but business accounting software and business expense tracker are totally different things. We actually have a video that's this kind of. I will go into details here, but just know they're totally different. Thank you so much for your attention. Let me quickly do a recap here. So I was just talking to you about the best business budget tracker apps. So number one, you have Zoho Expense. Number two, you have Inverse Span. Number three, you have Ramp. Number four, you have QuickBooks Online. Number five, you have File. Number six, you have Wave. Number seven, you have Raido Expense. Number eight, you have FreshBooks. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. Until then, stay marvelous.